If you weren't paying attention to Oppo before, now is the time to start, because its new Find X2 Pro flagship is actually surprisingly great. Now, some fans of the original Find X may be disappointed by the move to a more traditional phone design here, but the newly slab-shaped, motor-free Find X2 Pro is incredibly well put together. For a few weeks now, I've been using this phone in orange vegan leather, which is effectively just fancy textured polycarbonate, but this material does feel really nice. The unique texture helps with grip, which is useful in such a large phone, while also making it among the least fingerprinty devices I've used of late. There is, by the way, also a ceramic-backed version if you prefer something that feels a bit more conventional. And the back is punctuated by a hefty camera bump and metal badge down below, both of which have held up pretty well to wear and tear so far. It's a very attractive phone that's managed to combine a metal trim with an unconventional rear material. And on the inside, the Find X2 Pro is equally impressive. It's powered by Qualcomm's top-tier Snapdragon 865 processor with integrated 5G, along with 12 gigs of RAM and 256 or 512 gigs of storage. I've been using the 512GB model here. This phone's star attraction though is without a doubt the display. It's a 6.7-inch Quad HD Plus OLED panel packed with proprietary Oppo technology and a glorious 120Hz refresh rate. And a high refresh rate like this will instantly ruin any other phone screen for you. It's a big deal, and if you're buying a flagship this year, it's a feature you're really gonna want. Bezels are minimal, with only the slightest hint of a chin area down below, and a subtle curve to the glass surface on the horizontal. The only blemish is the hole-punch selfie camera in the top left corner. Some people will hate this, but I've more or less made my peace with this style of cutout over the past year. The display is also extensively configurable, from basic tweaks like white balance and color vibrance to the O1 UltraVision engine, which can upscale non-HDR and lower frame rate video content up to 120Hz with HDR. The 1200 nits of peak local brightness also makes for easy daylight visibility, while the lowest brightness levels combined with the dark mode can help with comfortable late night viewing. In terms of battery life, the extra hertz are definitely not free, and if battery life is your top priority, then you'll want to stick with a lower refresh rate, but the dilemma of battery life versus display smoothness really hasn't been a source of much anxiety for me. The Oppo Find X2 Pro packs an ample 4260mAh battery on the inside, but it's also a 5G phone with a fast refresh rate and a ton of other whiz-bang features. As such, I've found battery life to be dependable. I'm getting a comfortable 4 or 5 hours of screen on time across a full day of use. That's perfectly fine, but for heavy users this isn't going to be a 2-day phone. That's not really such a big deal though, considering the speed of Oppo's SuperVOOC 2.0 65W wired charging. At a low battery level, that'll get you out of the danger zone in just a few minutes. As a result, I've stopped really worrying about charging overnight, because I know that however low the charge is in the morning, I can be basically back in action in the time it takes to make a cup of coffee. For a full charge from dead, Oppo quotes 38 minutes, which broadly matches with my experience. And finally, the one trade-off in this department: there's no wireless charging option on offer, which is somewhat disappointing when the likes of Huawei are pushing Qi charging to ever quicker speeds. And now onto what has in the past been the Achilles heel of Oppo's Android phones, the software. A couple of years ago, it was ugly, glitchy, and basically just bad. Unfortunately though, none of that applies to the latest ColorOS 7.1, which to my surprise I've actually really enjoyed using over the past few weeks. Oppo has its own distinctive visual style with green hues, clean whites, and stylized wireframe icons. It's all very easy on the eyes. And ColorOS's core apps and UI are pleasantly animated, and thanks to the speedy processor and the display, the Find X2 absolutely flies. Biometrics too are equally quick. The new larger optical fingerprint scanner is more reliable and slightly faster than the previous generation, and the same goes with the face unlock feature, which unfortunately isn't as secure as the 3D scanning systems using the iPhone, the Pixel 4 and others. I found some genuinely useful features in ColorOS though, especially around multitasking. A 3-fingered swipe easily splits the screen into multi-window mode, far quicker than the many taps required in vanilla Android, and the quick shortcut bar allows you to pin certain chat apps, like WhatsApp, in a kind of floating chat head thing, making it far easier to hop between these apps and whatever else you might be doing in the background. As with any highly opinionated smartphone software, however, there are some bugbears to note. The most irritating ColorOS feature I've encountered is the default behavior of the status bar, which doesn't show icons for all notifications as standard. Instead, each app has to be manually toggled on. It's a bit confusing because this is a real disconnect between the notification shade and what you see in the icon bar. Plus, Oppo does have a pretty weak track record for Android platform updates, so don't necessarily hold your breath for a speedy Android 11 upgrade later in the year. After the display, the most impressive feature of this phone has to be its cameras. Along with the redesigned and much larger main sensor and a capable ultra-wide option, the phone features a second-gen 13-megapixel 5x telephoto zoom that's good at up to 10x in hybrid zoom mode. All the above hardware makes for an incredibly versatile camera setup, even though some rivals have it beaten in sheer sensor size. But whether you're using the ultra-wide or primary sensor, colours are consistent and accurate, with ample dynamic range even in challenging situations like shooting directly into a sunset. The new main sensor and f1.7 lens capture some really impressive macro shots too, and at night there's plenty of colour detail thanks to the automatic night mode that kicks into action. You've also got the terribly named AI Color Dazzle mode to detect the usual array of scenes, cat, sunset, landscape, indoors, etc., and tweak the colours accordingly. The Find X2 Pro is a competent performer in low light too. Although it doesn't reach the dizzy heights of Huawei's latest P40 series with its enormous 1/1.28-inch sensor, I've been impressed with most of the nighttime and darker indoor shots that I've captured on the main and ultra-wide cameras. When it comes to the 5x periscope telephoto, Oppo does an admirable job in daylight and in some indoor scenes, though as with most telephoto options like this, quality degrades pretty quickly in nighttime scenes. If you're unfamiliar with this kind of telephoto lens, the added versatility that usable 5x and 10x zoom brings to smartphone photography is phenomenal, giving you really impressive close-ups that often don't look like they were taken on a smartphone. The 5x camera also provides a great showcase for Oppo's new video stabilization feature. The new software stabilization works on all the rear cameras and does an excellent job of smoothing handheld pan shots and completely eliminating handshake in most static shots. The result is an almost magical level of stabilization. This phone delivers in all the key areas you'd expect from a premium flagship: display, performance, camera, and charging speeds, and it establishes Oppo as a true competitor to Samsung in European markets. With Huawei still struggling to build out its own software ecosystem, the Find X2 Pro could well replace its local rival as the go-to Android alternative to the Galaxy S20. For Oppo, weaknesses remain in areas like software features and update cadence, but none of that is enough to detract from the overall package. This is an exceptional phone, and if you're inclined to spend upwards of €1,000 on a shiny new Android handset, the Find X2 Pro should definitely be on your shortlist. That's it for now. Check out our full written review on AndroidCentral.com, and don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube for all of our future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.